Welcome to the Pat Narduzzi Show inside Pitt Studios at the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. I'm Larry Richard, head coach of your Panthers football team, Pat Narduzzi. Coach, hard to believe we're coming down to the final game of the regular season.
It really is. This season has flown by. And I think it flies when you're having fun and you're enjoying the kids that you're around.
One of the things, since tomorrow is Thanksgiving, we talked about this last week, is being grateful in the moment. And I know you have 14 seniors, and Saturday's game means an awful lot to them, to their families and their fans. So if you don't mind, if you were doing a banquet, I thought I'd just give you the senior's name, what comes to your mind, okay?
It's like a big test here. Okay, let's go.
Salim Brightwell, big linebacker from Paterson, New Jersey.
You know, we talk all the time about our seniors playing the best football that they've played since they've been here, and Salim is playing at a high level right now. He's playing intense, he's playing physical, he's making a lot of plays, and I love where he's at right now.
You've got Maurice French.
Maurice French.
French from New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Yeah, Maurice, again, you know, obviously he's had an incredible year. We've missed him really desperately here the last couple of weeks, and you know, we hope we get a chance on Senior Day, not only see him be out there with his large family, but also watching him maybe catch a football.
And Jeff George Jr. from Indianapolis, even though he hasn't been on the field, how important are players like that through the process of the week?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff has been selfless in the whole process. You talk about just a great senior. You know, comes from a coach's family, a player's family. Dad was a first rounder. He's been incredible. I mean, sometimes you have guys that, you know, maybe, you know, you don't enjoy, that aren't playing, they're kind of a pain. He's not, I mean, he's just been wonderful. I love Jeff George, and I appreciate everything he's done for us.
From Dumas, Arizona, Will Gregg.
You know, Will Gregg has been a guy that, again, has gotten better. I think really each year he's been here, you know, obviously a grad transfer from the University of Arkansas, tight end, and he's made some plays. He wanted to catch the ball. He's had opportunities to catch the ball this year and make some plays after the catch, and we're happy with where Will's progressed.
Yeah, Dumas, Arkansas. I think I said Arizona. I better go back to that's geography. Nakia Griffin-Stewart, another grad transfer from New Jersey.
You know, Nakia's done some great things for us. We, you know, had big plans when he got here. He's done a nice job blocking for us. He's caught some balls. He's been a mainstay and a guy that we can count on every week.
One of the local players from McKees Rocks, Central Catholics, Damar Hamlin.
Gonna really miss this guy. You know, local kid. You know, has played a lot of football for us. Went through some adversity. Has played the best year he's played here. You know, he's an NFL safety. You know, like I said, he's improved his tackling. He's the best cover safety I've ever coached in 30 years. I've been very, very impressed with his senior year.
You want to repeat that? The best cover safety you've ever coached in 30 years.
Yes. And not only that, he's a he's a great tackler. He's become, you know, I can name on probably one hand the amount of missed tackles he's had, which is incredible.
Damar Hamlin, you make sure you take this piece and tweet that out and make sure it hits all the social media. That's pretty high praise, Coach. Dane Jackson from right here, Coriopolis, Cornell.
Yeah, Dane has been a lockdown corner for us. You know, he's had a great year as well. You know, he's a guy that you can just trust. You put him out on that island, you know, Jackson Island, I guess it's called, and he locks him down all day and makes plays. So, you know, people have not gone at him lately, and we hope that continues for the next two games.
And you ask a lot of your defensive backs in your defense.
Yeah, I mean, our safeties are active in the run game, and our corners have to lock down, and that's how we've been able to, you know, at least remain in the top 10 in rushing defenses.
You know, for many players, as much as they've played and been around, sometimes you'll remember one play in particular. And with this next senior, Kylan Johnson from Dallas, Texas, I'm always going to remember that hit at Georgia Tech that flipped the game.
Yeah, there's no question, but he's had a bunch of plays this year. You know, I was so excited that we were able to get Kylan here from, you know, the University of Florida, a grad transfer as well, and he's played outstanding. You know, he fits into our defense, and he's fit in with our family, more importantly.
Another local product from Clairton, former Clairton Bear, the big wide receiver, Aaron Matthews, who has a touchdown throw and a very significant one this year.
Yeah, and obviously a touchdown catch, and he's a big monster receiver. Again, super kid. He's really turned into a leader this year. You didn't see it coming into the season, but just as practice has worn on as the season's gone on, he stepped up and learned what a leader is as a senior.
From Newcastle, Nishannick, they call him Batman, big tight end, Jimmy Medore, fullback also. he tweeted, and I saw some of the seniors, how grateful they were for their experience as young men going through the program.
It's great. You're on Twitter a lot. You call him Batman. I call him Dr. Madur because he's going to be a doctor and hopefully take care of me someday. But Jimmy's an incredible, player, person. Again, has been, primarily been a special teams player for us this year, and a guy that we count on. He's getting 15 to 18 reps a game in special teams, and is critical and is really right now our personal protector on our punt team.
From Coatesville, Pennsylvania, Jazzy Stocker.
Stock has been, he's had a nice year. He kind of grew up in the special teams and made his name as a special teams player. One of the toughest, pound for pound players we have on our team. He loves to practice every day. He's, like I said, he's tough. And, he started that Georgia Tech game and helped us win that football game, played outstanding. And he'll also start on senior day for the first half in place of Paris Ford.
And from Apollo, Pennsylvania, Apollo Ridge, Trey Tipton had some injury challenges, but what a young man. His attitude is tremendous.
Yeah, he's a super kid. And again, he's gone through as much adversity as anybody on our football team. You feel bad for him. You don't ever want to see him go through it again. He's going through senior day. There's a chance he comes back. He's got to make a decision on what's important for him and for the rest of his life.
From Westchester, Ohio, grad transfer, Nolan Alizio.
Yeah, Nolan Ulizio, grad transfer from the University of Michigan, has started every game this year for us at right tackle, and he's done a really good job. Lineman of the week 2 weeks ago against North Carolina. We need him to be the lineman of the week again this week.
And not to bring up the rear, he's, as you'll agree, team favorite with his personality, Amir Watts.
Amir Watts, you love that name as much as Shockey.
Shockey Jacques Louis.
But Amir's been, he's had his best year as a senior again. And that's what you expect out of a defensive lineman or any player. But again, he's played his best. He's obviously, the funniest guy on our football team from our radio show every week.
What a personality.
We expect great things from him.
And 9 of your 14 seniors already have their degrees. That's pretty impressive.
It is. And, again, it's a tribute to our academic support. It's a tribute to our coaches. We stay on them academically about going to class. You could ask that about Jalen and Jimmy Morrissey today about going to class and just staying up on their work to get that thing done. So it's been it's been fun to watch those guys graduate.
Anything come to mind when you were a senior, how important that day was?
I don't think there's a player that's ever gone by. I don't care if you played baseball or football or basketball. This is going to be their last game at Heinz Field. For some, it'll be the last game they ever play in, and we hope more than half of them will have a chance to play on, at the next level somewhere for some point in time. But it's their last game at Heinz Field, and it's their last game with their brothers, walking out of that tunnel. And I think it's an important day and something we've stressed all week about our kids coming ready to play and execute for them.
And they're coming to play as Boston College comes from the other side of the ACC conference. Haven't seen them in a while. They're 5-6. Pitt, of course, 7-4, and we'll talk about that and more coming up. We got Pat Bostic, we got Jalen Twyman, we got Jimmy Morrissey. When we return on the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. This is the Pat Narduzzi Show along the Pitt Panther Radio Network. And by the way, you'll be able to see this along with Beyond the Script. Don't forget AT&T Sportsnet. We'll talk about the areas. You have some encore presentations. And Coach Pat Narduzzi, always great to bring your players on your show and give the fans a little more insight. This time it's the big man, 305-pound. That's what they say you are. 6'3", center. Jimmy Morrissey. Jimmy, thanks for coming in.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So, Jimmy, we've heard so many good things about you. I know you're being a little embarrassed to say that, but, Coach, you know it's true. Everybody we talk to, coaches, other players,
umpires,
they look to this guy. How was it? Because your story of how you got here is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I always say it's my dad's fault for why I'm here. Lucky to have him. He was the one that forced me to go to camp here. I really didn't want to because I wasn't getting recruited by any big D1 schools. So he forced me to come here. I did well at the camp and then kept a relationship with the O-line coach at the time, and now I'm here.
Obviously, you're glad you are.
Yeah, extremely.
You had an impact as soon as you got on the field. Even as a young guy, Explain why the center position is more than just snapping the ball. What are you looking for that you're communicating to your team?
So first I look at the defense, what kind of front they play, and that changes week to week based on the team. And then after that I go through my calls and usually a mic ID or whoever we're going to.
So that's when the center, he points and says, there's the mic, and you call it the number,
Or
right?
whoever our ID is for the play, yes.
And what does that tell your line guys?
Tells our O-line who we're blocking to, who we're sliding to, run play, pass play, and then variable calls after that. So center makes a call, and then the guards and tackles make their calls after that.
I can't imagine you'd play on an offense where you pass more at any point. You guys are very active, and those short passes almost take the place of some runs. So, but you guys have taken a big step this year.
Definitely, yeah. It's been completely different from last year. Last year we felt like we ran the ball every play, and now it feels like we pass the ball every play. I enjoy it. So it's been a good challenge for us, improving our pass protection with 4 new guys up front. So I've enjoyed the challenge.
You've got a mental attitude. You have to be just like a quarterback, a leader. I mean, you're a leader on the football field as a center.
Yeah, it comes with the job. I think most centers are. It's just there's a certain responsibility that you have that, you got to take care of your 2 guards and 2 tackles, put them in the right position before the play even starts. So,
you know what they say, Coach, the offensive linemen usually have the highest grade averages, right?
They do. I think maybe they get the second. I think the quarterbacks are number 1. I think the O-line's number 2.
What?
I think we do it. We do it every semester. We rank what positions got the highest.
we might have cumulative. They might have gotten semester on us.
So this is an opportunity for you to say something about the 2019 senior class. That these are the guys that you worked hard with since you got here, who are going to make their final appearance at Heinz Field.
Yeah, I'm going to miss them. I'm really, grateful for what they've done for the program and for myself. I came in with a couple of them, as DeMar, Maurice, A1. I'm sure there's a couple more I'm forgetting, but they were in my recruiting class. So ever since the freshman days in Sutherland Hall till now, it's been a journey, and I'm going to miss them.
What kind of bond do you create by being in the trenches for so long with these guys that lasts a lifetime?
It's extremely tight. We're with each other every day. I see them more than I see my family. So it's awesome. They're my brothers, best friends.
What are you looking for as you get ready to meet the Boston College Eagles?
Looking for great execution, guys making plays, and making sure that we don't have stuff that hurts the team on the O-line. False starts, stupid penalties that we don't need that set us backwards. Making sure the ball keeps going forward.
One of our radio partners, Cale Berger, has 10 questions for a player every week. It's DeMar Hamlin for this pregame show. So we always grab a couple, right, Coach?
No, we have to do it.
Yeah.
Tradition.
If you were stranded on a desert island, which 2 teammates would you take and why?
I heard that this was a question asked. So JT and I were just discussing this. I think I would take Jalen with me for sure. Hard worker, and we're tight too. Our lockers are right next to each other. And then I would take, I think, Brandon Ford with me. That guy's big into tactical stuff, and he'd be our hunter-gatherer. So I know he'd get something for us to eat.
Spotify, top 3. Coach and I, every week, we try to see how many are on our list.
All right, my top 3 would probably be Drake, Zach Brown, and Meek Mill, probably.
Drake's popular.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, Coach, that we know. Jimmy Morrissey, center for your Pitt Panthers. Good luck, and appreciate all you've done this season, too.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And when we come back, you talked about Jalen Twyman, number 97, is going to join us here on the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Time has come. We talk about responding and being a great football team, and that's what we got in here. Don't you ever question that. 1, 2, 3, go, man!
We have won Pitt's first Coastal Championship.
Intercepted at the 29-yard line.
And he's gone! Matthews got it! Panthers win!
Hail to Pitt.
Inside the Peterson Event Center, Pitt Studios. These are great, aren't they, Coach? It's state of the art. This is
This
fantastic.
is our new set today.
You like this?
I like this
A
set.
little different twist for the final show of the season, the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund. And our next Panther player guest is the big man, Jalen Twyman, number 97 from Washington, D.C. Redshirt sophomore, has had a big impact up front for the Panther defense. You're having fun, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I can't do it without all the other 10 guys that's on the field and stuff like that. I really appreciate those other guys. Without them, I won't have the success that I'm having.
Tell me how it is that you ended up with Aaron Donald's number.
One day I'm in our game locker room, and I walked up to coach like I'm thinking about switching my numbers. When I was watching all the young recruits try on the jerseys and stuff, and he was like, "What number do I want to wear?" And I told him that number, and he was like, "Okay," because my work ethic matched that. So.
And, Coach, I mean, you don't give that number up easy, so you saw something before we saw what Jalen was able to do this year.
Yeah, you know, it started back when we recruited him in high school. I don't remember this, but we recruited him in high school, and, you know, I'm on the road, and all of a sudden Aaron Donald FaceTimes me while I'm in his high school. So things happen for a reason. And so I was like, you know, and then all of a sudden that's when I found out that he loved Aaron Donald that day.
And, you know, Aaron Donald has set the bar as high as it goes. He's picked as the best player in the National Football League. And here's a guy they said couldn't play in college. And then when he was playing here at Pitt, they said, well, he won't be able to take that to the next level. How much of that kind of inspiration? And you see the work he puts in.
He's definitely paved the way for every defensive lineman that come through here from past and the future, you know what I mean? Like, he's a great person, and he's a hard worker, and he's the example of that hard work pays off.
And you've had a chance to interact with Aaron Donald. He's as good a man off the field as he is a player.
Yeah, he's very down to earth. You know, I could joke with him, ask him any type of question or advice that I need, pass rush stuff, whatever I need to ask him. You know, when he was just back, I was asking him some stuff, just how to beat guys more often and stuff, and he definitely provided me with a lot of information.
So what are you thinking when you're on that line ready to make a play? What's going through your mind?
First, I got to make sure I'm, you know, playing with good fundamentals and stuff like that, and just reading my keys and cutting it loose when Coach allows us to.
Coach, you talk about those little things, the details that can make the difference on a play, working, not working, a tackle, not. And I've been impressed with how your players reiterate that throughout the season.
Jalen's a detailed guy, that's for sure. Everything he does, I mean, he's, you know, probably in the film room more than any player on our football team. You know, he works at his details, and again, he's working hard every day in practice.
You have 10 sacks this year. How much fun is it when you get to the quarterback?
I mean, you know, when I was a redshirt freshman, and I got my first one, it felt like my body went numb and I couldn't feel nothing at all. So getting to the quarterback is definitely my most favorite thing to do. And I love when I'm at a away game and like the whole fan base just goes quiet, or when I'm at Hines and we hear "Sit Down, Be Humble" with a little song. So it's definitely fun.
You had a late sack in that game against
North Carolina.
Thank you, the Tar Heels, and I got to call the play-by-play because Mr. Hillgrove was in Cleveland, and it was just magic, you know, when you go 97 sack.
Yes, yeah, I love that, man. But I can't do that without Dane Jackson. He took away the quarterback's first read. The quarterback wanted to go into the boundary, and Dane was right there locking him up like he always do. And then we ran a little pick stunt. Amir White, he sold it great, and I just played off of those guys, and I really appreciate the other 10 guys that surround me. Like I said earlier, I can't do it without them.
Well, I asked Jimmy Morrissey the same question. How about the seniors on this team and their impact on you?
They've always been a leader. You know, me and DeMar Hamlin are always talking trash to each other, just trying to pick each other up in those times when we doing rope repetitions or in the weight room, lifting, whatever, like me and DeMar, real close. Maurice, they always like cheering me on and stuff like that, and was happy with the success that I'm having.
You've been unbelievably fun to watch this season, being on the sidelines and seeing your defense fly. I mean, the guys up front, your linebacking core, the D-backs, it's fun to work watch all three phases of this defense perform. So what are you expecting against Boston College?
I'm expecting us to come out and execute our fundamentals and get after it. You know, we pride our defense off stopping the run. Even though we are one of the top teams in sacks, we always breed ourselves on stopping the run, and we ready to get out there this week.
Yeah, this is kind of an old school when it comes to the run, their offense, the way they, and your big mantra is stop the run, Coach, right?
It sure is, and there are 12 personnel, 2 tight ends 90% of the time, so it's going to be a smash mouth game.
All right, just a couple of quick questions before you go.
Okay.
You know, DeMar Hamlin's going to be asked 10. We'll only give you one. What was your dream job when you were a kid other than playing football?
My dream job, I always wanted to be a sports analyst, so I'm like having fun right now.
Well, keep it up, and I'll be unemployed. Which of your teammates is most likely to become famous for something other than football?
Damari Mathis, he's a phenomenal rapper.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh man, we playing songs all over the locker room. He's definitely one of the best.
And top 3 artists on Spotify?
Future, I like Meek Mill, and Shy Glizzy.
Yeah, Coach has that one too. Jalen Twyman, number 97. Let's hear it for Jalen. Thank you, big man.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck in the game against the Boston College Eagles. When we come back, we'll be joined by former Pitt quarterback Pat Bostic on the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
I love the connection that we're starting to develop together.
X-Man drives all the way in. Alley-oop jam by Brown. Audice Tony, 15-footer is good. McGowan goes in for the jam. Wow! And the place is on fire.
We have to fight for it, we have to want it, and we have to go take it. That's our focus right now. We're going to be good. Trust me on that.
Listen up, team. Last year was an embarrassment. Our holiday gifts did not deliver. We got tears, grimaces. We got the whole internet making fun of my husband's face.
Who wants avocado toast?
Not now, Derek. Not now! This year, we're gonna raise a gift game! Hail to Pitt!
Can I look in here?
Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. I'm Larry Richard, head coach Pat Narduzzi, and former Pitt quarterback Pat Bostic. Let's talk about Boston College. You know, when I think about the challenges of the Coastal and how competitive it is, this is a team that's underperformed this year in some games, but yet they opened the season beating Virginia Tech. They lost to Notre Dame and Florida State in their last 2. They've been up and down. They beat Syracuse. Coach, how do you scout Boston College? What have you seen looking at the tape so far?
You know, they're a physical football team. I'll start offensively, which is their strength of their football team is their offense, which will be a good match against our defense because that's obviously our strength right now. And they're going to line up in 2 tight ends and try to run it down your throat. They run what we call a power no pull. It's kind of the NFL push play. They're going to try to get a double team on the 3 technique, you know, or D tackle, or 1 technique. They're going to try to double team our ends. That's their favorite play, and they just want to, you know, if they get 3 yards, they're happy, and they just drive down the field. I mean, they've pounded people, and you know, with Dazio being an offensive line guru, that's kind of his baby.
They're an unconventional offense now today. You know
It's
that.
unconventional.
As
It's
a
old
defensive
school.
guy, you know, you come from the Big Ten. How much do you love a game like this?
You know, as I was telling one of the offensive players today, it's a little different than defending. Last week we had to defend 11. I mean, it was power, quarterback power all day. And our kids did a pretty good job of stopping that. Now you're defending just 10, but you got more beef up front. It's not a spread offense. They've got a slew of tight ends that'll be in there that can block, and they're physical and they play with good technique. They're well coached.
You expect to see an inspired BC team, though. They're sitting at 5 wins, a 6 win gets them into a bowl game. They're playing for a lot. You expect to see their best?
There's no question about it. I think we get everybody's best every week, which we should. We're defending Coastal champions. I think we got a target on our back this year. You know, I think Virginia Tech, after what we rushed on them last year, I think we got their best look. Bud had them ready, and I think the same thing with BC. They're going to come in here with an attitude. I know Dazio's talked about in his press conference earlier in the week, just about we're coming to Pittsburgh to get our 6th win. He didn't say we're going to try. He said we're gonna. So I think the challenge is right there.
And I would imagine that the players, you don't have to try to get them fired up. They know. I mean, you guys work so hard year-round for one single game. And there aren't that many. You talked about that many times. You only get so many.
No question about it. And again, this is one opportunity of 12 guaranteed, and it's, I mean, they're hard to get. I mean, practices are practices, but those Saturdays are the fun days. But you got to prepare for those one opportunities you get.
Do you do anything outside of, I know the seniors will be recognized on the field. What about through the course of the week? Has there been any talk about that?
Friday night, we'll have kind of a team senior meeting with all the families. So we get all the families there. We'll have a highlight tape, and for the seniors, it's a pretty impressive videotape. And
I'm sure it is.
There'll be some tears that night, and it's when you hit, it hits you as a coach, because it really doesn't hit you during the week. You're just practicing, you're preparing, you're game planning. But come Friday night, those seniors sit there and go, I can't believe it's here. It really is. And their parents are there. They're sitting next to their mom and their sisters and dads and some grandparents. It's pretty emotional, which we want it to be an emotional game Saturday.
What's impressive is your seniors are all contributors.
No question about it. I mean, 95% of them are making a lot of plays, and we're going to miss every one of those guys.
We'll talk more about Pitt and Boston College when we return on the Pat Narduzzi Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Saturday, 3:30 kickoff at Heinz Field. Senior Day. Pitt hosts Boston College. Larry Richer with head coach Pat Narduzzi and Pat Bostic. A couple of notes on Boston College, a couple of names people are going to hear. On offense, we talked about their run game. A.J. Dillon, one of the best backs in the country. He's certainly a key.
He's a load to take down. I mean, it's kind of a souped up James Conner as far as the size-wise. I don't know if James was quite, they say 250, he might be 260. He looks 260s. But when you look at him in the backfield, his calves are gigantic. I mean, just look, him next to the quarterback, it's like, they got a guard in the backfield that can run. I mean, the kid is big, he's physical, he runs hard. We're going to have to gang tackle and get him down.
Yeah, he's faster than for that big. I mean, he gets out there with some big number of 30-yard, 40-yard runs on the year.
He's got good speed.
What about their quarterback, Dennis Grossell?
The quarterback manages the game well. He's put the ball on the ground a couple of times. I think he's fumbled it 4 times when he has kept it in some different runs and scrambles. But, obviously he's the backup coming into the season. He's done a nice job managing the game and handed it off to his big dogs.
How do you feel you'll match up against their defense offensively?
I think it'll be another good matchup, really, to be honest with you. They have not been one of the top defenses in the country, nor have we been one of the top offenses in the country. So I think we're going to find out, who comes on top. But it's going to be critical that we score some points on Saturday.
This game's obviously about the seniors, but you're a pretty young team. I mean, you look across the board, and when you look at the future of the program, how important is getting an 8th win? I know it's a number, but in terms of a year of progress and taking the next step with an opportunity to get a 9th, which hasn't been done in over a decade.
The 8th win is huge, but if we were at 6 right now, that 7th win would be huge. I mean, I don't know if the number, I don't think kids look at numbers when you talk about recruiting, but we've got a great nucleus of football players on our team that aren't graduating. We hope we can hold on to them all, and then we got to continue to go out and get new players, and I am happy with our depth in what we've got in this program.
Pat, we appreciate your contributions to Pat Narduzzi's show this season. I'll see you in the booth. Pat Narduzzi on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.